Tag. Today I'm talking about this hat. This is a German Bundeswehr officer's army hat. It's from a period in time where Germany was divided into East and West during the Cold War. This hat was made in 1968, which means it's from the pre-fall of the Berlin Wall Bundeswehr. It wasn't exactly easy to research this hat, and I came across a lot of new information, and I actually really enjoyed researching it. It was quite interesting. I found out a lot of new information about the post-World War II and pre-German reunification army. So later in the video I'll be talking about, give you a bit of a summary of the history of the Bundeswehr and then talk about this hat in particular. Cool, let's get into it. The Bundeswehr was Germany's first major armed forces after World War II. When Germany was divided into East and West as a response to the Soviet incursion into Western Europe, West Germany had no military due to the Allies' regulations following World War II. In 1955, Western countries came to an agreement to allow West Germany to have an armed force to help resist Soviet expansion, especially given that the Korean War had just come to an end in 1953 and tensions with the Soviets were high. The Bundeswehr founding principles were based on developing a completely new military force for the defense of West Germany. The Bundeswehr did not consider itself to be a successor to either the Reichswehr or the Weimar Republic or Hitler's Wehrmacht. Neither does it adhere to the traditions of any former German military organization. Further, a personal screening committee was created to make sure that the future colonels and generals of the armed forces were those whose political attitude and experience would be acceptable to the new democratic state. The West German Bundeswehr came to an end after reunification in 1990 following the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. The Bundeswehr marched in and took over East Germany from the National People's Army, or the NPA, and joined to form one united modern Bundeswehr. So let's take a close look at the hat. Inside the hat it says Bamberger Münzenindustrie. I don't speak German, however from my research apparently Bamberger means that the hat was made in Bamberg, Germany. Mutzen means hat. Industry means, well, I'm guessing that means industry like in English. So it's the Bamberg hat industry. Then under that there's a few series of letters and numbers. I'm not sure what they mean and couldn't really find out. But then under that you've got Roman numerals for 9 and then 1968. I'm not sure what the 9 means, but I'm guessing the 1968 means it was made in the year 1968. Some more numbers which I'm not sure what they mean. And then down below you've got 56. Now I'm pretty confident that is the hat size. 56 must be a pretty small hat size because I tried this hat on earlier, you saw in the intro, and it was really squeezing on my head. So maybe back in the day people had small heads, who knows. So the main body of the hat is made out of a felt, a greyish blue felt. Then there's like a patent leather strap going from side to side, secured in places with these quite nice pins. And then the peak of the hat is also patent leather, black on top and grey on the bottom. And there's also some white piping that goes right around the top of the hat, right around the bottom area of this hat, and then under here as well. So this badge tells me that this hat belonged to a member of the German Bundeswehr Army. Army because the Army's symbol is two sabres with a wreath, as opposed to the German Air Force, which is two wings with a wreath, and the Navy, which is an anchor with a wreath. Then you have up here the cockade, which I found out is just a small military badge. It's stamped grey metal with a red ring and then a black ring. Now this hat did belong to, it's an officer's hat, quite a low level ranking one, because if you're only higher general, say, you would have embroidery around the edge here, and this badge may be golden colour, and so this would be gold as well. This hat would have been worn in ceremonies, meetings, official business, that kind of stuff. It wasn't the day-to-day hat of the officer. So, the German Bundeswehr, the foundation of the modern German army, or military. This hat represents that period after World War II and pre-fall of the Berlin Wall, which is quite interesting. It required me to do some research in an area that I probably wouldn't have known about otherwise, which is why I like making these videos and looking at these objects. Well, that does it. That's the German Bundeswehr Army officer's hat. Thanks for watching.